bring you in real quick on this here. Well, again, nothing's quick with me. I'm going to be putting this, it's all been color sanded. I've used this Scratch X on it. And now I'm going to go back over everything with this Minwax paste finishing wax. And what basically all you do is just like anything, like if you ever waxed your car, which nowadays I don't think too many people do, just by looking at your cars. Anyway, I'm just going to use these paper towels because that's what I have here in the house. It's too cold again out in the shop to do this out there. And I can't wait any longer. I want to get this guitar. After this is all this process done, this guitar will start going through the process of putting it together. So basically, you just rub this on. And what this is going to do for the paint, or for the first surface of your finish, it's going to give it a nice hard finish on it. And if you accidentally spill anything on the guitar, or spit on it, or sneeze on it, it'll wipe right up. And later on, you can use your favorite waxes that you like to use. I'm not a big thing on waxes made just for instruments, or this wax is improve your tone. Yeah, there's some people out there thinking a little tiny screw, if you change a little tiny screw, will change the tone of the guitar. Several years ago, there was a guy who did a video on how the different colors paint will change the tone of your guitar, but he never went into what they were using for pickups or amps or time of day and all that stuff. Oh yeah, the time of day will change your tone. The atmosphere, if it's rainy outside. So anyway, you apply that, and what I'm going to use now, so I just put a buffer on my drill here. And what we're going to do is we're going to buff that off a little bit. Man, that light is just killing my eyes. I'm going to blink this out for a little bit because my eyes are just like super sensitive. Now I can't see. Light blind. No, I better turn it back on, I guess. I'll be right back. I'm going to go find my sunglasses. All right, that's much better. I got my sunglasses on, and I actually can see it better now. All right, so we're going to buff this off, and hopefully I don't burn through. Now, the secret of buffing anything off is keep your buffer moving. Don't stand on it. Just that quick. Does that show up on there how shiny that is now? And this is semi-gloss. This is what I was saying earlier when I went to paint this, that you don't have to paint it gloss to get gloss. And but there she is. That's looking really good. Spot there I missed. So now you just go over and wipe off any residue. Yeah, I like that a lot. Let's do the front. Yeah, that looks good. Nice and slick. Feels like a guitar. And again, we just take that, rub that in. This thing will be going together today, and I'll bring you in bits and pieces on how I do certain things. I don't know if it'll be playing today, but it's going to be, I'm going to start putting it together today. About time, huh? Feels like it's been forever. I'll do this top and then I'll turn the camera off. I'm going to do the same process on the neck. I do have all my parts for this. The only thing I decided not to do, I was going to change the bridge on it, but I think I'm just going to live with the one that came with the kit for now. And then maybe later on I'll change that out. I haven't decided yet. What I'm thinking about doing, maybe, just maybe. I was looking at those bridges. It's got the acoustic pickups built into it. I may put one of those in there, but it means I have to add either a push-pull or another switch on here so I can switch it over. Can you come around here and hold this neck down for me? I still want the guitar flipping around.
Okay.
Looks like I got it, huh?
I think so. On the side or back?
I'll do that in a minute.
Okay.
Alrighty, there's the front. Looking good. Feels good. Alrighty, I'm going to continue on off camera. I'm going to go ahead and do the sides and the neck. And then I'll bring you back in when I start to put this thing together. Alright, bye now. Well, alright. There she is. She's all buffed out. Now we're going to start trying to put this thing together. Where do you start? $64 million question, ain't it? Where I like to start at is right here on the bridge. There's a little hole drilled here for your ground wire. You never want to forget that ground wire. So that's where we're going to start at today. I'm going to go ahead and fire up my soldering iron. Get it ready. We've still got some soldering to do. So I'll just go ahead and find me a piece of black wire I can use for that ground. See if that's long enough. Not quite. Okay, maybe I won't use black wire. Oh, there we go. We gotta get that. Find the studs for that bridge. Well, how many of you out there thought that I'd ever get to this point of getting it to go together finally, huh? So, what I like to do, doesn't mean you have to, this is why I like to do it. To make sure it's a nice long piece. To make sure I have enough, I'll just go ahead and feed that through that hole first, if it'll go in. Sometimes you gotta get it started. All right, I got that bigger pushback wire through there. Here's how I did it. I wrapped a piece of tape around the end of my wire, twisted it, and I cut it off at a point. Went right on through. What it was that pushback was catching on the wood inside there, and it wasn't allowing it to go in there without it bunching up. And anyway, that was my solution, and it worked. So you might remember that some of the time when you're working with this kind of stuff. All right, now, again, make sure you got yourself plenty of wire to work with here. It looks like that's plenty of wire right there. So we're going to snip that off here. And if you remember right, this pushback wire is already pre-soldered, so I don't have to worry about putting any solder on it. So now you got to find your stud that you want to use, and same thing. Now we're going to push this wire back and expose as much of it as we can here. Pull that wire on out there. Looks like we may have to go ahead and cut some of that shielding off of there. Very rare that you ever have to cut shielding off of a pushback wire, but believe me, you want to get as much wire on your ground as possible. And I really feel that some of you out there, this is where you're failing at. This is why you get a lot of buzzing going on in your guitars and stuff, because you don't ground it properly. And I hear it all the time. I hear you guys, even when you guys shield them, I still hear a lot of grounding issues. And I have a tendency to think this is where it's at. And only from my experience. And then my experience tells me that it's not grounded properly. And how do you do that? Okay. Well, like on a telly bridge, let's just use the tellies. What a lot of you aren't doing is you don't clean the bottom of your bridge off, for one. And what I like to do on tellies is I like to take and put a couple of drops of solder on the wire, so you have like a ball of solder on there. As you can see, I'm struggling getting that off of there. And come on. But what those little balls do, that'll help make sure that you're getting a good ground. And that's all I'm doing here. I want to make sure I'm getting a good ground when I put that stud in there. So now what we're going to do is pull that back, push that. This is going to have to be pushed down in there. So you take your stud, don't you pull out of there. Pull that back a little bit. Get your stud started in there. And what you want to do is you want to unscrew that. Get that started like that, and hopefully I got my wire stuck in there. Take a little hammer, take some wood, and just lightly tap on this. Sounds like I'm beating it, don't it? Before we get all the way in there, let's check that. Yep. See, we're stuck in there now. Still got a ways to go. Tiny bit more to go. Ouch. Don't stick your finger underneath it. Perhaps just a little bit more. So there we go. Got that in. Now you can screw your stud adjustment back in there. I like to screw them all the way down, that way they won't vibrate loose when you're doing other things. So that's in. We're going to go ahead and install this other stud. Shall we see if the bridge fits? I hope it does. Yeah, she's off a little bit. That's good enough. At least it's still on there snug. All right, that's what it looks like with the bridge on it. So anyway, now we have our ground wire attached. What do we want to do next? All right, we're going to go ahead and get this three-way switch installed. Let me see if I can adjust this camera some. It's probably bouncing around on you. We're going to try and get that installed. I'm going to find something to put on this guitar so I don't mess it up. So I'm just going to lay that on there so nothing gets scratched up, hopefully. So anyway, you guys remember this thing right here? This is our input-output jack and our three-way switch. So now we got to get that three-way switch and all that wire to go in there first. So I like to come through the F holes here, the F holes. I guess you could come through the pocket there. Yeah, let's go through the pickup cavity there. And go ahead and drop that down. No, let's keep that out. Let's keep this out. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry. So now what we got to do is got to unscrew this, since we're going to install this first. Set your parts where you don't lose them. Good at that. I like to unscrew the thing there. See, I knew I was forgetting something. You can use fishing line, you can use string, you can use tubing, you can use all kinds of different stuff to do this right here. All right, here you go. Here's my solution. I should have just done this from the beginning. Tubing, plastic tubing. I just happen to have a whole mess of this stuff left over from COVID when they had me on oxygen. That'll stick right on there like that. Stick that through the hole here. Is that on camera? Yeah. Pull this up. Help guide it if need be. I'll bring that up. Just like that. Now what you can do, well, it came off. What you can do is, if your tubing would stay on, you can feed this stuff back through the tubing and then screw it down. So we're just going to have to do it the hard way. Such is life. And here's some of you out there right now. Aren't you going to put one of them big black coin things on there? Tell you which way is treble and which way is rhythm? No. I like my stuff to look as clean as I can get it. I don't like pick guards, and I don't like Them big black round things they put on guitars. So I guess we should check, see where we're at here. Now, if you get it in the wrong direction, after you get everything in, if you put it down and it's up here, and if you put it up here, it's down here, or whatever, you have a choice. You can leave it that way, or you can turn your thing around. Right? Again, go ahead, stick switch on there, tip on there, so I don't lose it. I didn't tighten it down on purpose, so that way, if I do need to move it, I can after I get everything installed. All right, so now what I want to do is install the input-output jack. I call it input-output jack because you all should know this. Some people call it input, some people call it output. So I'm going to call it input-output jack. So let's see what we can do to get that in the hole. I'm thinking I have to ream that hole out because it got a lot of buildup from paint and stuff. Let's check it out. There we go. How's that looking? Yeah, I think it's good enough. So what we gotta do is gotta check ream that hole out a little bit. Now I have two ways of reaming out holes. I have a reamer. Got that from Harbor Freight. Why pay $100 from StewMac or whatever it is these days? Or I have these step drills, also from Harbor Freight, and I could use one of those to ream that out with. But we're going to try this reamer. Just there we go. All right, so what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to push that through like that. I'm going to take a little bit of tape. Just a little bit. Tape that on there. And hopefully we can break that loose when we get it inside there. Oh shoot, I forgot to take that. Oh gosh. See, Ted, you're not the only one. Pull this bag out, take the nut and washer off of it. Here, I was hoping it's going to look simple and easy to you all. I think I'm making it look rougher. It's really not all that hard. You know, it's, again, it's another one of them patience things. You know, you got to have patience. And if you can't get it the first time, you just try it again. Put my tape on there. All right, now let's try getting that in there. Drop that down in there. We're lucky and the wind's blowing, right?
His favorite saying.
There we go. See, we got it in there this time. So now, while it's hanging out there like that, the dilemma of trying to hold that and screw that on. So we're going to take our stuff, we're going to put it right on that tubing. Yeah, you can cut your tubing down. You don't have to run it as long as I do. Run that up there like that, and hopefully you got everything in the right spot. Don't forget your washers, and just screw that down on there. And again, I'm just going to snug things up, and then after we get things finalized, then we'll go through here and make sure everything's really tight. There we go. Okay, I got it in there. What I had to wind up doing, I had to take that jack back out of there, pull that tape off, because that tape had wrapped itself right around that doggone jack. And but what I wound up using these, what do you call those? Hemostats or something like that? I don't know. One guy called them locking scissors. That's a good name for them. Basically, that's what they are. Except they don't cut. So I wound up just crimping that on there, and I was able to get it through that F-hole and get it shoved up in there where I needed it, and got the nut and washer on there, and it's just finger tight right at the moment. Like I said, I'll go back through later, tighten everything down. And but anyway, it's getting started anyway. It's the beginning of it. And next step will be placing the I'll get the pots pushed down in there, and then we'll have to put the pickups in and then wire the pickups to the pots. And that'll be the next few steps here. And then after that, I'm going to go over the fretboard and make sure everything's still true to its nature. So when I first put the neck on there, I did the fret rocker thing, and every one of them were flat. There was no high ones. But since it's been in and out of the house a few times and stuff, and there's no fret sprout on this whatsoever, and I have never touched the fret ends of this guitar. I got some polish on there right now I'm going to have to clean off. But anyway, there's the start of it. Alrighty, y'all, be at peace, and I'll bring you back in later on. I have to go rest now. As you all know, been watching my videos, I've been feeling too swift, and so I have to go take a break now, and I'll try to come back in later on today or probably tomorrow, and we'll finish this thing up as far as getting the electronics installed, getting the neck squared away, getting the tuners on. I still want to experiment with an idea I have for the headstock. So that's still to come. So we have a few days worth of video making left to do on this. Then I don't know if I'll do a sound video after it's all put together. I may split it off and do just a sound video after it's all been said and done. I don't think I'll tie them all together this time. I don't know. Well, I'll decide that once I get that far. But at least it's starting to go together now, and we'll figure out other things. All we got left to do now is get the pot stuck in spots, and before I can do that, I got to solder the pickups on, and I got to solder a ground wire onto the pots. So we still got to do that, and so that'll be up and coming here in a little while. Alrighty, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye now.